Well, I think it's time to start playing the final bit of the game, huh? Gotta expand the chat on my end. I also had to turn off the game's volume for that. I figured that'd be a fitting song to play for what's probably going to be the final stream. Rise from the Ashes. Final chapter. Final, final investigation, or, a final trial, I guess. It should be the end from what I remember last time. Oh yeah, also, my cat is hanging out with me in my room. He's asleep right now. I don't think I'll wake him up with any of my stupid voices, though. At least I shouldn't. He's a heavy sleeper. It'll be fine. I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to, in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dart killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dart convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. What did you have to do with those killings, Emma? God, this guy looks like Yoshikage Kira. On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. What? He tried to kill you? Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yeah. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I already knew this. I read over the papers. Phoenix, did you not read over the papers? I didn't see that one coming. I did, though. Phoenix. Really? The SL9 incident. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then... What happened? I'll never forget it. Lightning struck. Ooh, yeah, as the lightning struck, something fell upstairs. Lightning struck and the lights went out suddenly. A bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now. A permanent picture? After the incident? I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why why she made up the crime. Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Edgeworth? Yes. I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. Ah, so we finally get concrete proof about whether or not the whole thing about Edgeworth using fake evidence is true. It is true, but he didn't know. If If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. Permanent picture. Also, I think we're missing a mod. He would normally have pasted the dumb copy pasta in chat by now. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable. And she looks no different. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies. Wait, so she was wearing the lab coat back then, 2 years ago, even before then. So the lab coat is just part of her outfit. Just... alright. She just likes lab coats, I guess. And find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at that time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he was being chased by a prosecutor? Oh, there's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. Taken in for questioning? You mean by the police? Of course. This happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. Well, why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly! Didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. What? That's news to me. Even after the Joe Dart case, as she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. Lana used to be a detective? New info. I'd better have another talk with her. That's new information. Guessing nothing new with examining, though. The bellboy. He looks wimpy, but you can tell there's a sharp edge under that facade. That bellboy is gonna be someone someday. Wish someone would say that about me. Yeah, I remember that dialogue. Yeah, nothing new. Wait, hang on. Did she say I have math homework and then it was basic addition? Hang on. I have a math test coming up next week. I better study. I'm borrowing this desk, okay? That's what they're teaching in high school math. We're in serious trouble. I just love this sprite of her. She's adorable. Lana! Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? But Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risks. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh? About how you were a detective 2 years ago. And how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? I suppose you have a right to know, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright has a right. Mr. Wright has rights. Yeah, no new dialogue, of course. Today's trial. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from that case was stolen as well, though I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial, it really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Lana. I believed that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It couldn't be helped, Emma. At that trial 2 years ago, I sold my soul. Well, all drama aside, the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there was no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana, that the witness, Miss Starr, said... Or what the witness, Miss Starr, said. About you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so fazed before. It's a little unsettling seeing chat completely empty. Usually, you usually would have two mods, like, bickering by now. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing! Oh, this is the new picture. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Chief Gant? He was a deputy chief of police back then, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They were the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. But now you're chief prosecutor. What happened? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was... to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could use that experience in court, right? Gant's help in the SL9 case was crucial to its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. Second in command? That means the investigation lead was Damon Gant, right? Yes, Deputy Chief Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. That sounds weird coming from her. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. That was when his final murder took place. When he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Now you tell us. First one at the scene. Damon Gant and Neil Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stages and Dark must have suddenly panicked. So he waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down, then fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Deputy Chief Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So, you were the first person to run to the scene, Lana. It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3? Huh. 3 bodies? Prosecutor Marshall, the victim, Emma, who had passed out, and the suspect, Joe Dark. During the struggle, it seems Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her after all her sister. I can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through. I tried to read that line twice, and I didn't read it right either time. I'm not good with that line delivery. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident? That's right. Quite a coincidence, hmm? I don't buy it. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. But that case was solved 2 years ago. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall. Yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself. The Chief's office. Maybe we should have a look at the Chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. In that case... actually, I'm gonna go to the underground parking lot first. No one's here today, not even Ms. Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into what exactly went down in the evidence room. That must be where the detectives are. But we proved in court today, on the day of that crime, no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. Yeah, I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. But instead, it looks like we just end up making Lana look even more guilty. Hang in there, Lana. I've got to find all the answers by tomorrow. I'm assuming there's not going to be anything new. Ladder. No one cares. It's all stuff I already know. Case was due for transferal. Yeah. So I don't really think I need to examine all of this. Is Edgeworth here? Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Ah, damn it. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee? He took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago. I guess we'll just have to come back later. Fine. Police department. Oh. Howdy, Bambina. Oh, Mr. Marshall. I never thought things would turn out this way when I woke up this morning. What? Translate. You never know where life will lead you, eh, Bambina? I need someone to translate that for me, because I have no idea what he just said, or how to pronounce it. I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy? Must be his pet cactus. Say, where are you headed? Just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. Sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. But Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why do prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Dark trial. Something was fishy about that trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either. All the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. The murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with the broken tip? That was Joe Dark's, alright. But, in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. A question? The blade of the knife wasn't a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that mean? It means there's a good chance that knife wasn't the murder weapon. However, in the report that was finally submitted, that possibility had been erased. Could the facts have been concealed with forged evidence? That case left behind scars on all of us. The scars that the SL9 incident left behind. Prosecutor Marshall. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, both of you got looks. I just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. The highest honor? You mean the King of Prosecutors? I knew it. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. Mr. Marshall must have really been close with his brother. Yeah, actually, speaking of that, we haven't used the trophy in court at any point. Is there anything on it that I haven't seen? Because there's really just the plaque at the bottom. Names of previous recipients. One guy's listed a bunch of times. Von Karma. But yeah, Von Karma's the only name mentioned. The day the SL9 incident took place. That wasn't the same day as... That's right. It was the day of the evidence transferal. Interesting. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already. I tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. Scars. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in that investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. They? Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Investigation lead Damon Gant and his second-in-command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both of their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She's never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentions it, Emma said something like that too. Tell me, what happened to my sister? Sorry, Bambina, but her secret's too well guarded. I never found out. Lana's secret. It all started 2 years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Did you enjoy it, partner? It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gant. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. What was that? Too bad I won't be around to work with you when you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. The blue-eyed badger is still chilling. Or why did I say blue-eyed badger? I can't read right now, I guess. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say he's dancing. The whole police department has been dancing about like crazy since the other day. Can I take out his batteries? I just can't help but feel he's gonna do something naughty. What does that mean? I still don't know what that means. Look, that patrolman is saluting the other guy. He must be a detective. So I cuff the out, right? Then you know what he says. What are you, moron? I'm an undercover agent. Oh man, I hate it when that happens. I guess he wasn't saluting. He was just listening to how his friend messed up. They make a good pair. Let's see. Criminal affairs. This place is always pretty empty, but today it's deserted. That must mean everyone's busy solving crimes. If you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Wow, he actually talked to us. The chief prosecutor saying what he did and the decision about what to do. About Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement of the media in tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just use the connecting hallway to the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. Really? You mean it's okay for us to go in there? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there. That's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Yeah, leave before he can stop us. What the hell? Why is there a pipe organ here? Whoa, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Hey, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. I thought I was a genius until they tried teaching me notes. I never could remember where C was. Huh? Oh, it's you two. Hang on. I gave him like a Patrick Star voice, didn't I? Oh, it's you two. Chief Gant. He put that paper he was reading in his desk. So, Righto, have you been swimming lately? At least I based my voice on Patrick Star. It doesn't sound like it, though. No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full with Mr. Marshall's misconduct. And Lana's provocative statement. Provocative statement? Oh, you mean about the forged evidence. Oh, my cat wants out. Alright, I'm back. Cat's been let out. 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. See that big picture on the wall over there? That's a picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Mr. Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall. We took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it, though. The trophy is different. Right? Yeah. The trophy... the weird sword thing. And that pot. Wait, hang on! That's... That's strange, too. I'm trying to figure out what this is, but it's behind the text box. Well. Speaking of which... Gant. Thank you. I want to check out that picture. It takes a minute to scroll with how much it has to load. What is that thing? This thing right here. I mean, it looks like it's just something that the suit of armor's holding, but it's so prominently in the picture, it feels like it's going to be important. But yeah, the trophy being different and the pot being there is definitely strange.
Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's get out together.
Oh, but this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it?
That case has long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore.
All the same, we'd still like to have a look around.
Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Now hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend.
It looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief Gant denied our request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us looking around in there. You mean like a clue? There's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Yeah, just go back again. Hey, pal! Detective Gumshoe, aren't you supposed to be in a meeting? I'm, just taking a breather. My feet hurt. From sitting so long? Actually, from serving everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth? No. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. That sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Edgeworth's crisis. Why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Skye is the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, a prosecutor is responsible for the evidence they present in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. His amazing talent as a prosecutor kept him safe from those who don't like him. But now with this... I might have... I think I saw it the last second that I was supposed to be Phoenix's voice, but whatever. Are there really so many people who hate him? In our world, only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only has that, but he's young. There's no better recipe I know for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes, sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime. My treat. Yes, sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay, Dick? Yes, sir. It seems you don't have any problems with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him. Under all this pressure, I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. He seems genuinely concerned for Edgeworth. Is anyone surprised at this point? He's basically his idol. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack? You mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl? Me. It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. Well, what was it? Oh, let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. Look, it's all written somewhere in here, okay? His powers of recollection never fail to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Dark's crimes. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. A businessman? What made him take to serial killing? One day, on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. With his car? So, it was an accident? An accident, yes, but it transformed him into an animal. An animal? He killed a man that witnessed the accident, then he killed the lady who saw the second man. A lady walked by just then, so he killed... or a kid... he keeps going. Oh, a jogger came upon the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of his questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim, Prosecutor Marshall. That crime was witnessed by someone too, but luckily Dark was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing that last witness wasn't killed. That last witness. The Kayama. Where's the not a murder weapon? Because it's probably not actually the murder weapon, apparently. About this. Hey, is that... It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9 incident on it. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, that knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. And was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it! Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Well, what was it, Detective? Quick, before you forget again. And now talk, murder weapon. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at. Plus, it had his fingerprints on it, too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You don't have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway. Take a guess where the broken off tip of the knife was found. That's what did him in. Where was it? The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. It was found deep inside the stab wound. Did it match Dark's knife? You bet, down to the last fiber. That's pretty conclusive. Stabbed in the back, died from a punctured heart and lung. A knife tip was found. Switchblade knife has been updated. Well, there you have it in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money you need, you should ask Chief Gann. It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? I want to very quickly re-examine the knife. See if anything new is there. There. Broken tip was found in the victim's body. It belonged to murderer Joe Dark. Nothing new to investigate, just the tag still. And then... Neil's autopsy report. Name of deceased, Neil Marshall, 27. Date and time of death, 7 to 7:30 p.m. That might be important. Cause of death, single stab wound piercing heart and lung. Assessment, died from blood loss in under 10 minutes. Weapon was found and missing. Weapon found in wound was missing tip. It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene. It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. The Chief's out now and his office is locked. But we'd like to have a look around it if that's okay. Well, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What, really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with a breach of trust. Breach of trust? Simply put, I'd be canned. Oh. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card? It was Detective Goodman's. That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Oh. So, in other words, Gumshoe is our only chance of getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. I don't know. Something to show him that would make him change his mind? Present the picture. Yeah, he doesn't know anything. Show him the video. Nah, we can still look at the video, I guess. About that jar. I think I've seen it before somewhere. Somewhere? Maybe it's one of those memories people have from previous lives. This must be the most uninformative detective I've ever met. Something about it makes me feel uneasy. It's like I'm in the Chief's office and he's yelling at me. Chief Gant? Where could I have seen that before? Now do I show him the picture? No. Can I investigate parts of the picture? No. I can only look at the picture. Huh. What would make him change his mind? This guy almost made us lose the case today. What are you talking about? He was guarding the bloodstain on that evidence locker with his life. That's more than you can say about most officers nowadays. It would have saved us a lot of trouble if you hadn't guarded it so well. I have to admit, he's right, though. Thanks to the Blue Badger, we were able to prove another possibility today. The possibility that another murder took place prior to 5:15 p.m. As usual. I am an attorney. Detective, here's my attorney's badge. He shows to me every time we meet, pal. Yeah. What could possibly make him change his mind? Oh. You know Officer Marshall? Of course I do. He was like a mentor to me. When I first started out, he even gave me a small cactus. Really? He said, Dick, she'll listen to all your troubles. Note to self, Detective Gumshoe talks to a cactus. Hard to believe he's just a patrolman now. Someone ought to trade places with him. What? Why are you looking at me like that? Nothing there. Oh. To think people are accusing him of injustice. I, for one, ain't buying it, pal. You're looking into the case for Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah, it was a pretty big deal while it was going on, you know. After all, a serial killer was on the loose. But Lana was pretty clear in her confession. She forged evidence in order to prove Joe Dart guilty. Yeah, this is stuff we've already heard. Huh. Maybe I can come back with something? I'm gonna look around other places and see if there's anything I'm missing. Yeah, still nothing here. No one in the prosecute. Oh wait, hang on. Wonder if Edgeworth is back yet. There he is. He looks like he's writing something. What are you doing here? He sure was quick to throw that paper on the floor. Tough day in court, huh? I've had to live the past 2 years with rumors flying around. What's another allegation to me? Cheer up, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm rooting for you. That's Edgeworth for you. Always trying to hide his real feelings. So what do you want? Unlike some people, I don't have all day. Forged evidence. There's no excuse for what I've done. 2 years ago, I used false evidence to obtain a guilty verdict. That's what it all breaks down to, and nothing I can do can erase that fact. But you didn't know, did you? I mean, that the evidence was falsified? The police department and the prosecutor's office share a bond of trust. If that bond is broken, we stand to lose everything. The police department's error is my error. My responsibility as the prosecutor in charge. That fact remains the same no matter what excuses I might have. Mr. Edgeworth. I take pride in my work. So tell me why. Why has it all come to this? Even Edgeworth can't keep this kind of emotion bottled up. Tomorrow's trial. Are you up for the trial tomorrow? First last year's trial and now this one. Seems all you do is worry about me. To be honest, you're getting on my nerves. But Mr. Edgeworth, you can't just walk out on the trial. Tomorrow's the last day. It's too late to change prosecutors. I'll bet that's what my superiors are banking on. I never thought that case would come back to haunt me like this. What do you mean? The list of evidence. Seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. It's only half as long as most lists? That's odd. After Neil Marshall was murdered, I became prosecutor for that case. I may not have been part of the investigation, but I knew what I had to do. Use the evidence I was given to prove the suspect guilty. That was really the only thing on my mind at the time. Say, we just saw a picture taken around that time. That picture, something seems strange about it. Day of the crime. Could you tell us again about what happened that day? The day Detective Goodman was murdered. You were participating in the ceremony over at the station, right? I've never cared for ceremonies, but I had to attend that one. Because you were awarded this. Those receiving awards can't exactly skip out on the ceremony. I finished up at the office in the morning, then drove over to the police department. You finished up at the office? Yes. Just odds and ends clerical stuff. I didn't plan on returning to the office that day. That is, until I was asked to take something back. To take something back? This. Oh yeah, Chief Gant asked you to hold on to that, didn't he? Yes, it was a piece of evidence in a case that was closed half a year ago. He asked to bring it back to the prosecutor's office. That's the story we heard yesterday. So you came back here to the prosecutor's office because the chief asked you to? That's right. Anything I can present to him? Just silence. Come now, Wright, you can't seriously expect me to just sit down and chat with you about the case over a cup of tea. But this isn't related to the case, remember? You said so yourself. So I did. Chief Gant gave this to you that day, didn't he? He asked you to bring it here from the police department. Chief is a very competent man, but sometimes he does things that don't make any sense. At least it's better than being incompetent and doing things that don't make sense. A certain detective comes to mind. Hey, don't badmouth Dick Gumshoe. I like him. You don't... Shush. Anyway. Present the trophy, I guess? You know, it wouldn't hurt if you put this up somewhere, like, on a shelf. There's no meaning for me anymore. What do you mean, anymore? That's who I was last year. What good is it to dwell in the past? He's asking me? Yeah, why can't he just accept it graciously? Actually, something's been troubling me about this shield. Look, do you notice anything different? Different? Yeah, don't you remember? The other shield in the court record. I guess I'd better present this other shield. Alright then. This picture was hanging on the wall in Chief Gant's office. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He just started making a name for himself. Looks like this was taken when he received the King of Prosecutors trophy. Speaking of that, there's something that bothers me. Yeah? The trophy Mr. Marshall is holding. It's a little different than yours. Yes, you're right. Ah, I remember now. Remember what? That was what the official prosecutor's trophy looked like until 2 years ago. There's a story behind its design. A story? It sounds interesting. Would you mind telling it to us? It's simple, really. Contradiction. That's what the award's based on. King of Prosecutor's trophy, please. The word originates from an ancient Chinese tale. In Chinese, the word contradiction is written with 2 characters. The first means halberd, and the second means shield. Have you heard this story? Me? Oh, sure, everyone knows that. Why don't you tell it though, for Emma's sake. Yeah, smooth, Phoenix. Very well. Oh, different art style for this? They drew this in a completely different art style just because it's supposed to be an ancient Chinese tale. Long ago in the kingdom of Chu, there was an arms merchant. I'm just gonna hope that that's how it's pronounced because I don't know Chinese. So I just kind of have to guess. One day he presented the king with 2 items. The first was a halberd he claimed could slice through any shield or armor. The second was a shield he claimed could withstand any weapon. Huh. Wait a minute. Those claims contradict each other. Phoenix, we're not in court! Very perceptive. But then again, you've heard this story before, right? Anyway, as you mentioned, the very descriptions of these items discredit them both. When the king pointed this out, the merchant was left speechless. And thus the Chinese word for contradiction was born. Oh, I see! So the chipped shield and broken knife symbolize... Precisely so. They symbolize the merchant's items. The ancient tale ends with the merchant at a loss for words. But it's in our nature to pursue matters to their conclusion, even if it results in something as ugly as this. Wow, thanks, Mr. Edgeworth. I learned something new today. That's funny. If that's so, then why were you only given a shield? You'll have to ask Chief Gant. 2 years ago, he had the halberd, part of the award, abolished. Chief Gant? Of course. This guy is very intertwined in everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the person who did it. I don't have evidence for this, but he's just really sus. Sus is Amogus. That game has completely rotted my brain, by the way. 2 years ago, the halberd was removed from at Gant's behest, giving it its current form. Alright, Gant, where are you, motherfucker? Get back here. Oh. Excuse me. Oh. Oh no. Oh no, this voice. Would either of you care for a quarter pound of roast beef? Miss Star. I guess she's out of lunches. You certainly are the curious sort, aren't you? What, you trying to just write something in chat? Anything at all? So there's finally something there? Amogus, I gotta hate you. Oh yeah, Kula, I already know that you two have been quiet because you've been trying to troll me. This entire time, I've been messaging the Archbishop on Discord, and he spilled the beans to me. Kind of like the first person who sucked a cow's nipple to discover milk. Excuse me? Driller voice, I'm trying to sleep. God, I hate you people. Finally, something in chat. It's been an hour. Still, I never thought you'd go digging up that case from 2 years ago. Everyone in this trial was involved in the SL9 incident. Not only that, but the murder occurred on the very day the evidence from that case was due for transferal. He was sufficiently trolled. Yeah, end the trollage. Due for transferal. This case can't be attributed to mere coincidence. Aren't you forgetting something? You know that little scene I happened to witness. The instant Lana stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. No matter how much of the past you dig up, it won't change what I saw. There's never enough trolling. I would say so. You gotta know when a joke needs to end. Roast beef is meant to be savored when eaten. Miss Star's hatred toward Lana. It all dates back to 2 years ago. The Dark investigation. Joe Dark. That's a name I'll not soon forget. We trailed him for half a year. Oh, the pressure. Still, I don't think I was ever more alive than I was then. Those days were steamier than a bowl of hot gravy. Now I want mashed potatoes and gravy. Damn it. Fuck you. Stop talking about food. I'm hungry. Poor old Jake Marshall, though, must have been going through hell. You mean because of his brother's death? They were close, those two.
After Neil died, something took over Jake. He became obsessed. Seeing Jake like that made her all the more desperate.
Her?
Lana Sky. My sister. The best of the best were put on that SL9 case. Of course, they were led by that legendary duo. Lana and Chief Gant.
After case closed.
That legendary pair was the reason we were able to keep up our investigation. That's why we were so shocked over how it turned out.
You mean with the forging of the evidence?
Don't get me wrong, Joe Dark got what he deserved. Still, it was obvious the evidence produced in court was being manipulated. Items our team never found would suddenly appear, while other items were kept secret. But you don't have proof anything illegal was done. I'm proof enough of what happened. After that case, all of us, save Goodman, were relieved of our duties. Most without even so much as an explanation. Then Lana Sky transferred to the prosecutor's office and became chief prosecutor. Lana always wanted to be a prosecutor. Nothing's quite as simple as it appears. Huh? Lana Sky was merely being used as a pawn. That's my take on the matter.
She was being used. Also, every time she pops up on screen, even I hurt a little bit inside because I know I have to do that voice, and it hurts my throat. Anyway, legendary duo.
Damon Gant and Lana Sky. Gant led the investigation with Lana second in command. They were the best. They solved all kinds of cases together, didn't they? Damon Gant's magnetism in particular was almost unreal.
His magnetism?
By that, I mean his ability to attract evidence. He produced the most incredible evidence in the cases he handled.
Incredible evidence? You mean...
Oh yes, there were rumors about him even back then. No one dared confront him, though.
I take it she's talking about forged evidence.
Back then, everyone looked up to Lana. All the detectives wanted to be like her. Really? Oh yes, myself included. I was a fool, really. She hated anything crooked and always watched out for the other detectives. That's why she was so concerned for Jake. Mr. Marshall.
My voice cracked when doing Emma's voice because of Angel, damn.
When Jake's brother was murdered, she felt as if she had lost her own brother. If it wasn't for her, I don't think Jake would ever have recovered from his shock. That's what makes it all the more infuriating. Ms. Starr. That's why I'll never be able to forgive her. Why did she have to turn so cold after that?
Being used. Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office 2 years ago, didn't she?
Yes, thanks to Chief Gant's powerful influence. Chief. That's right. Having solved the SL9 case, his position as chief was secured. There was only one thing left for him to control, and then no one could stand in his way. The prosecutor's office.
What? You mean that's why Lana was transferred?
If he could control Chief Prosecutor, he could control the prosecutor's office. That must have been his goal all along. But how could he control Lana? I don't know, but one thing's for sure. Ever since that case ended, she's never been the same. It's only logical to conclude. There must have been a reason for her change.
At last, I'm finally getting close to the bottom of this ugly mess. Thank you, Ms. Starr.
You listen to me, rookie. It takes more than just ingredients to create fine cuisine. I hope you turn out to be a better chief than I've ever been. A better chef, I mean.
Look, there's a one-letter difference, okay? Don't judge me. I'm an idiot. You should know this by now. Anything new to say? No. Criminal affairs. Alright. Oh, you're back! You're still here. I gotta make 150 copies of these files. Brewing coffee, copying files. I'm turning into a regular DJ.
You're a DJ as well?
If I'm not mistaken, I think he means desk jockey.
Oh, that DJ.
I gotta admire your persistency, but my answer's still no. I'm not letting you in the chief's office, period. It'd be my neck on the line. That office is the last crime scene in the SL9 incident. I have to take a look in there.
There's gotta be something we can do to make the detective change his mind.
What new do I have? I guess the trophy was updated. And I'm out of drink. Hey, that's it. That's the King of Prosecutors Award Mr. Edgeworth got the other day. Were you at the award ceremony, Detective Gumshoe? Of course, I got an award for diligence myself. Ah, congratulations.
Say, this design's based on an old Chinese parable, right?
Yeah, everyone knows that. There was this, dragon. Yeah, that's it, a dragon. He had a thing for shields, see? That's not exactly the version we heard.
No, but this one sounds more exciting.
Anyway, it gets kind of gory after that. I'll spare you the details. Ah, nothing else to say. Can I actually check it now? Anything new with that? No. Alright. Huh. I'm also still wondering about the vase. Can I at least investigate the safe? Or the vase? Wrong word.
Hey, look, they're hard to make out, but there's some dark red stains.
Yeah. That's stuff I've heard before.
Huh? This thing doesn't have a bottom.
That's weird.
I wonder which side is up.
Better yet, what's the purpose of a bottomless jar?
At least it doesn't collect dust inside, right?
Huh. Lighter to darker. Yeah, it's the same. I just wanted to make sure the colors weren't reversed and it's secretly an actually different jar or something. There has to be something. Like something I can present. Yeah, went through all this. If anyone's got any ideas, I'd be glad to hear it. Yeah. Want me to grab a guide? We might not need the guide yet, but it'd still be useful. Can I present this to her? So, she doesn't want to see it then. She just doesn't want to talk about any evidence. Alright. You still suck. The only thing I can give you right now is a Poppy reset. Yeah. She says she doesn't have anything to tell us, so I'm just gonna trust that and just assume that we're done with her. Same goes for Edgeworth. I think we've pretty much exhausted everything we can do with him. So at this point, it really is just figuring out how how to get Gumshoe to let us in. Start showing everything. Yeah, that was different dialogue, but it's not useful. But I am still curious. Hey, I just bought some of that stuff. Now I can go around detecting blood traces too.
Wow, is that a new type? I've never seen that bottle before. Add 3 inches to your base height.
Base height? Hey, let me see that. Looming tall, new and improved growth formula. You mean this can't detect any blood traces?
Well, it's not quite the same as luminol.
So that's why the lady at the counter had that smirk on her face. I feel bad. But not that bad. Fingerprint stuff. Hey, that powder's used for detecting fingerprints.
Yeah, Mr. Edgeworth gave it to us.
He did what? All I have is some flour. Are you okay, detective? Quick, run! Oh, you just sneezed all over us. If it's any help, one time I took a nap on a bench with wet paint. Why am I not comforted? God, he's so weird. I love him, but he's so weird. What in the world am I supposed to do? Nope, I accidentally clicked it again. This doesn't have anything we don't already know in it. Yeah. I wish I could just present the picture and go, hey, that weird vase maybe is important. But yeah, if someone can help me out, I would appreciate it. He's mumbling something to himself. Oh, Francesca, you're more lonely than a marsupial and... Quiet, Jean-Marc. What is this guy talking about? It seems he's given up on the mystery genre. So weird. These are the detectives' desks. Yeah. The poster. Blue Badger. That man must be the chief of detectives. Dark case may have been fabricated? That's what I thought all along. I just never bothered to tell anyone. Now there's a guy who cares about his work. But I thought I presented, like, pretty much everything to him. ID card record. The victim, Detective Goodman, must have entered the evidence room along with someone else. Someone with an executive officer number. Seven 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 seven. That's 17 too many, Detective. The executive officer. I just might have a hunch. Yeah, so we're not 100% sure, but it does sound like that's probably Gant. Do you have the letter? What letter? Oh, a lost item report, huh?
Very impressive, Detective. You knew what it was right off the bat.
Well, I am the master of misplacement, you know.
Master, that has such a cool ring to it.
The way I see it, if things are meant to be lost, then they're meant to be lost. From Edgeworth? I didn't get a letter from Edgeworth. There's a higher power at work here.
Wow, a higher power.
Maybe I shouldn't let Emma hold any evidence. Go to his office. I thought I already did everything with Edgeworth, though. Yeah, all of the talk prompts are done. Do I still have to present something to him, too? He's pretty clear about not wanting to talk about anything, though. Yeah, that's just talking about the different trophy. This is the I don't want to talk to. Examine? What? I already examined everything like a million times. The paper. I wonder what he was writing before.
Come on, Mr. Wright. Let's take a look.
Are you crazy? Edgeworth is sitting right there.
Just distract him. I'll check it out.
Hey, Edgeworth. Is that Detective Gumshoe out the window there? Oh no, he's falling to the ground. Hold on. First let me see what that girl's doing crawling around my feet. He didn't even look.
What? Letter of...
If you're having trouble reading, I'll read it for you. It says a letter of resignation. Resignation? Edgeworth, you don't mean... I'm tired, right? I feel as if something inside me has died.
But Mr. Edgeworth, none of it is your fault.
I know the path I've walked. You don't need to tell me. And the path I've walked hasn't been just one. I can't forgive myself for what I've done. No one else should forgive me either. Uh-oh. I think he's serious.
Mr. Wright, please, you have to do something.
This letter of resignation. I wonder if I can use it for anything. Alright, so that's what it was. I couldn't even see it because it's behind him. And I just assumed that we'd already examined everything in the room because we examined everything in the room like 5 other times.
Due to recent events, I hereby announce my resignation as public prosecutor.
He really wrote a resignation letter.
Wow, even when resigning, Mr. Edgeworth is cool and concise. Still, it wasn't his fault.
Someone has to be held responsible. That's how it is in the grown-up world.
Yeah, but that responsibility means nothing if he just quits.
Well, not everyone sees it that way.
To truly take responsibility, you should have to work the rest of your life for no pay.
That's one tough grown-up world there. No. Does this game have a weird love triangle between Phoenix, Edgeworth, and Gumshoe? Don't say that. That's a thought I don't want to have in my mind, that they have a weird love triangle going on. Yeah, it'll work without pay. That's called slavery. Yeah, literally though. What's this crumpled up piece of paper? No way! Mr. Edgeworth can't be serious! Is he ever not serious? I mean, Gumshoe weirdly simps for Edgeworth. Yeah, I never really thought of it as a romantic thing. Honestly, I can see it. I can see the people shipping them, though. But I mostly hear people ship Phoenix and Edgeworth. That just seems like the more obvious ship to go with. I can't believe they push him this far.
Mr. Edgeworth really feels responsible.
When I first met him, I thought he was as cold as ice, too. But I know different now. He trusted us detectives to provide him with sound evidence. But we betrayed him.
Detective.
Yes, because of unnecessary feelings. That's it. I've made up my mind.
But...
Here, take my ID card. We can't do that. If someone found out...
They wouldn't let you off the hook with another lost item report.
Look at me. It's no secret I'm already out of the loop. After all, I'm friends with Mr. Edgeworth. The Depending on how this case turns out, I may already be as good as terminated. What? So at least let me do this, for Mr. Edgeworth's sake. Alright, Detective. Thank you. Gumshoe's ID tucked swiftly in the pocket. I love that some of the, added to the evidence files, I love that some of the, text is slightly different. It's just his sprite. It's just straight up his sprite. Detective Gumshoe isn't very photogenic, is he? Whatever you do, just don't say that to his face. Look, his eyes are half shut. Yeah, and his mouth is half open. Hey, each of his shirt buttons is off a notch. And he's got the narrow end of his tie in front. I think this goes beyond being a photogenic issue. Sergeant Dick Gumshoe. The ID number is way too blurry for me to read, though. And let's go, I guess. Trespassing. Here goes, Mr. Wright. Hey, so there's the suit of armor that was in the picture. We're in. If anyone finds us now... Detective Gumshoe's a goner. If that happens, I'm counting on you to bail me out. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were a ghost. I didn't even know you could slap a ghost. Detective Gumshoe. What are you doing sneaking up on us like that? I wasn't sneaking. I was just worried something might go wrong. So I came too. If you're here, then what's the point of giving us your ID card? Gumshoe's ID crushed and rendered unusable in pocket. What? Hey, don't do that to my card! I hardly ever get a chance to come in here, so I figured I'd have a look around myself. Besides, we're all in this together now. You really do want to get fired, don't you? Not if we're lucky. Now come on, let's see what we can find out. I've got a bad feeling about this. Wrong button. I'm just gonna talk to him first. That desk on the other side of the room, was that your sister's? Yes, that's where I was waiting for Lana. On that day 2 years ago. Is anyone using it now? No, sir. This is entirely Chief Gant's office now. He practices a strict policy of preserving the crime scene. That's a strange reason to leave it there. He leaves it as a warning to everyone else. He wants us to always be alert. He told us so himself at our New Year's party. Of course, he was pretty intoxicated at the time. I see. So ever since Lana left, no one ever touches that desk? No one except Chief Gant and the cleaning lady who's in here each morning. Still, 2 years have passed since that incident. There can't possibly be any clues remaining. Can I ask you something? Sure. You only came here to look around, right? Because it's one of the SL9 crime scenes. I mean, that's your only reason for coming here, isn't it? Why do you ask? You don't think... Nah, you wouldn't be... No. No, there's no way. Never mind. Don't worry about it. Okay, now then let's look around a bit more. Hey, hold on. Not so fast, buddy. Huh? What is it? When someone tells you don't worry about it, it's supposed to start bothering you, pal. You don't just let it go at that. Sorry. This guy's starting to get on my nerves. Okay, so what's bothering you? You two don't think Chief Gant might be a suspect, do you? What? He's right, Mr. Wright. What do we think of him? Chief Gant. It's finally come to this. Excuse me, yawning. I'm just, What do I think of him? Perhaps it's best I don't divulge my feelings yet. There you go, ignoring me again. This is the real deal, isn't it? This armor and these weapons? Sure is, pal. The Chief doesn't care for imitations. First the pipe organ, now this armor. You know how many taxpayer dollars must have gone into this room?
What? You mean we're paying for this? That's it, I'm not paying 1 cent of my taxes.
You don't have any taxes to pay. Shh, be careful of what you say. Who knows, the chief may be hiding in this armor as we speak. I don't think he'd fit in there.
Even if he did, he'd never be able to get back out.
Cut it out, you guys don't know how scary that guy can be.
Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk.
Speaking of that, when we were here earlier...
Oh, it's you two.
Chief Gant. Put that paper he was reading in his desk. I wonder what he was reading. This looks like a list of evidence. List of evidence? In most cases, the list runs twice as long as this, though.
Hey, look at the case name.
Huh? SL9 incident. Wonder what this is doing here. Hold on, detective. What did you just say? I said I wonder what... No, about evidence lists. Normally they're twice as long? That's right. I guess there wasn't a lot of evidence. A half-sized list of evidence. List of evidence. It seems too short. Most lists run twice as long. What would the other half of the list be doing here?
I knew it. The chief must be hiding something about the case.
It would appear so. Evidence list added. Well, what does it say? It was ripped in half, so this part is all I've got. You gonna read it? Huh. I wonder what this is. Looks like someone drew some kind of sketch here.
What is it? Did you find something?
I can't make it out. I better keep quiet about it for now. Huh? Oh, no, it's nothing.
Why are your eyes moving about like that, Mr. Wright?
I better not forget about this picture. That's weird. Sometimes I just wonder why my microphone is so sensitive, because you guys could hear that yawn. I saw it pop up on the actual microphone reading.
Wow, look at the size of Chief Gant's desk.
We found this inside the drawer. A list of evidence from the SL9 incident.
Mr. Edgeworth had the other half of that list.
What would this list be doing here? We could. I mean, it picked up on Mike. We better look a little more into this. This is a safe, isn't it? Safe. That word is ripe with intrigue. Okay, if you say so.
It looks like a code needs to be entered in this panel to open it.
Oh. A 7-digit number. I think I just might know what it is. Do you know what it is? I have a hunch. Oh, I know. You want me to try my birthday? It's... I have a better idea. Here goes nothing. Okay, I have an idea of what the code is, but also... Damn it. Didn't work.
I guess that wasn't it.
I was so sure that was the number.
Maybe we should check the court record again.
Yeah, okay. For real this time. Perfecto. Wow. Real secure there, Gant. Bingo.
What number did you enter?
Whose birthday was that, pal? 77777777. The final ID card number on that record.
What?
The number of the mysterious executive officer who entered the room that day. You mean 77777777? That ID number? I think you're 1-7 shy this time. Jackpot. Getting a gambling joke. Yeah, I get it. I get it. You're just not funny. This can only mean one thing. That's Chief Gant's ID number.
Say, anyone care to look inside?
Is there any money in there? How much does he have stashed away?
Look, it's
A shard from a broken cup. It somehow looks familiar. Where have I seen this before?
There's something else in here, too.
What's this? It looks like a piece of leather cloth. Alright, are we gonna do the fingerprint test?
This is a handprint, isn't it?
Hey, I saw someone wearing a shirt like that once. You think the chief made up the design?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, it was just a thought.
Is that it? Is this all that was in there?
Apparently so. It's empty now. Piece of cloth with a handprint on it. And a broken shard from a cup. They look like pieces of evidence. Yeah, but unless you can prove that they have something to do with this case, I'm afraid I can't just let you take them. After all, it's my neck on the line here. Great, now I have to prove their relevancy to get them. How are these two items related to the SL9 incident?
Come on, there's gotta be something we can show the detective.
Yeah. Detective Gumshoe, could you have another look at this jar? I remember when the three of us put that back together. Those were the days. It's kind of early to be nostalgic.
Wasn't this jar a piece of evidence from that case?
That's right. One of the shards had an SL9 incident sticker on it. Doesn't this ring any bells? You know, that fragment we just found? You mean this one that was in the safe?
Yes, that one. That was in the safe.
Now that you mention it, it's ringing a lot of bells. Let's see if it fits. Here, let me see that shard. I'll take a crack at this. Go ahead, pal. Show us what a rookie can do.
Mr. Wright, here's some glue.
If I can piece this together again, it'll prove Chief Gant was knowingly hiding evidence. Here it goes. I just rotated it upside down, didn't I? There you go. There, it fits like a charm. That, of course, means Chief Gant willingly and knowingly hid a piece of this jar in his safe. In other words, he concealed a piece of evidence from the SL9 incident.
But...
Hey guys, get a load of this! What is it? This piece you just attached. It's different from the others.
there's a reddish line on it.
A reddish line? That's blood. I don't get it. Why would Chief Gant hide this in his safe? Unstable jar updated. Huh.
Hey, look here. It's hard to make out, but there's a dark red stain here.
Huh. Looks like blood.
This piece the chief has is different, though. The blood stains on the other pieces are just spots. But this one's a line.
A 7? I mean, to me, it looks like a Japanese character, but I don't actually know, so I don't know Japanese, so that's just a hunch. That is odd. Well, I'm gonna keep looking around. The Chief's organ sure is a sight to behold. Occasionally we hear him playing it from the Criminal Affairs Department. On the second floor, and this is the 15th floor of an entirely different building. When a detective screws up, the Chief calls him to his office, and makes him listen to the organ for hours.
What's so bad about that? Music soothes the soul.
After that, the detective can't hear anything for days except for the ringing in their ears. It's an instrument of punishment, literally.
But aren't the Chief's ears affected?
He never listens to anyone anyway. That's beside the point. Examine the floor.
This mark looks like some kind of flower.
Word is, it's designed after the insignia on the prosecutor's badge. Prosecutor's badge? Yeah, like the one hanging from your collar. What? They have badges too? The design's supposed to portray the severity of the punishment system.
Now that you mention it, it does look all pointy and kind of painful.
Well, Mr. Edgeworth would never wears a badge.
That's because he's a sharp dresser. A badge like that wouldn't go too well with his outfit.
So sharp dressers don't need to wear badges?
I guess everyone just kind of lets it slide.
I don't see how that's supposed to signify severe punishment.
Look at that giant window. Makes it want to crash through and jump outside.
This is the 15th floor.
I know, I was just saying.
Saying what?
Ever since making detective, I've always dreamed about doing something like that. Jumping from the 15th floor into a bale of hay with an eagle sort of yelling behind me. What, have you ever played Assassin's Creed?
Gumshoe, we're worried about you. Yeah.
Note to self, Detective Gumshoe has a lot of dreams.
As long as he doesn't go crashing through that window when he gets fired.
Don't say that.
These shelves are mostly empty. Lana must have cleaned them out when she transferred over to the prosecutor's office. There's a small picture frame on the left side.
Hey, this is when Lana and I went to that theme park. This was taken on that day 2 years ago.
The day Joe Dark ran out of the questioning room and tried to kill Emma.
After receiving his award trophy, Mr. Marshall took a picture here. Then went along with Chief Gant to question Dark. I bet he never knew he'd be dead just a few hours later.
Gee, ya think? This was Lana's desk. Sure is tidy.
Lana's always been a meticulous cleaner.
There's not even any dust on it. Looks like someone's still keeping it clean. Does Lana ever come back here? No.
Chief Gant must still keep it clean in memory of their partnership. They were the stuff legends are made of.
Does he keep it in memory of her or in memory of the crime? Anything else I have left to find? The other window.
You can see pretty far from 15 stories up. If you were to drop that suit of armor from here...
At first, the Chief wanted to use stained glass for this window.
Really? Why didn't he?
They say he changed his mind because he wouldn't be able to see the view.
Oh. Stained glass...
Stained glass or not, it's a huge window. Alright then. Huh. Yeah, so nothing. I've already talked about everything, right? Yeah. Hi. Bye. I want to go to Edgeworth and give him the rest. Actually, I don't have anything else to tell you. Alright. Does Edgeworth have anything to say about that, though? No. So, am I still missing something then? Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't tried to figure out that that handprint though, not fingerprint. And also, where's that piece of leather that was also supposed to be there? Maybe the only reason I don't have the leather is because I still have to present something to Gumshoe to tie it to the case or something. So... present the blue badger. Nope.
I know what that is, so you want to take some fingerprints.
That's a great idea, Detective.
Alright, go to town. Sheesh.
What are you doing? Why are you sticking out your hand like that?
Go ahead, take my fingerprints.
It's not your fingerprints we want to take.
Huh?
Come on, this isn't the time for jokes. We're talking about that cloth we found in the safe.
Oh, I knew that. The one with the handprint on it, right? Sheesh, where's your sense of humor?
Okay, Mr. Wright, let's check for prints. Sprinkle the powder on the cloth. Then, once they've been absorbed into the prints, blow the rest away.
What are you, my mom? I don't have to be told a million times. Alright, let's get this over with. Done. Not Gantz. Not Meekins, not Marshall. That doesn't look exactly like Goodman. Gumshoe. Lana. Emma. Huh. No, how can this be? What are Emma's fingerprints doing here?
Hey, you found a match! Whose fingerprints were they?
Huh? Oh, it seems the prints are too old. They aren't clear enough to get a match.
Oh, that's too bad. I thought they'd be Dark's prints.
Psst. Hey, you, over here. You're a terrible fucking liar. What's going on here? What are that kid's prints doing inside the chief's safe?
Don't ask me. Let's just keep this information from Emma for now.
Here, maybe you should hold on to this.
Evidence for something, but what bears Emma Sky's prints?
Well, was I of any help?
Of course. Thanks to your ID card, we were able to get some hard evidence.
No, that's not very kind, is it? In other words, if it wasn't for his ID card, he would have been useless. Isn't that right, you in the coat?
Chief Gant!
We didn't think you'd be back so soon.
Fortunately, I'm a man who believes in signs. As I was walking to my meeting, I happened to look out a window and saw a stray dog run right into a pole. Just then I thought of a certain detective.
Do you mean me, sir?
Now then, I am afraid I'm going to have to ask you all to leave.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Oh, you in the coat.
Me, sir?
Drop off your ID on the way out. You won't be needing it anymore.
But, sir...
Now get out.
Yes, sir.
We'll be on our way too then.
Wait, you, the one without the spiky hair. Don't go yet.
Me, sir.
I'd like a word with you.
But, sir, I'm not a licensed scientific investigator yet.
You with the spiky hair, you're free to go.
Mr. Wright.
Look, pal, if I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. The chief's office is off limits. But no, you just had to go sneaking in there like that, didn't you?
I thought you said you didn't care anymore if you were fired.
Yeah, but if I knew it'd be like this, I never would have said it.
Now that I've seen the evidence Chief Gant was hiding in his office, I think I'm finally starting to get the picture. But why is she kept eerily silent about it all this time? She?
Who is he referring to as she? Or is that a typo when he's referring to Gant? Huh?
Anyway, you listening to me? I'm gonna try to smooth things over with the chief again. Later, pal.
Lana? After that, I heard from Emma. She said the police wanted to ask her some questions, so she'll be busy for the rest of the day. I see, so the chief asked Emma to come in for questioning. It's no use thinking about it, tomorrow's the final day in court. I'm committed to doing everything I can to defend you, which is why I'm here. But I've already told you all I can. What you've told me is over these past couple days is absolutely nothing. Not a single useful thing. Really, I believe I did mention something quite important. Something I told you right at the beginning. I said that I was the one who stabbed Detective Goodman. You know, I think I finally figured it out. I know who it is that's lurking behind your words. Mia did a good job mentoring you. I'm rather jealous. It seems Edgeworth was right. Edgeworth? Once you're convinced you know something, no one can persuade you otherwise. Thick-headed is the term he used, I believe. Now's my chance to get her to tell me the rest of the story. Keeping quiet. I have to admit, I was more than a little perplexed at first. You insisted you did it, yet there was no incriminating evidence. That's when it hit me. It's not that you're unwilling to tell the truth. It's that you're incapable of doing so because of a certain individual. What an intriguing notion. A certain individual, you say. So you think I'm protecting this person? Protecting? No, I think afraid of is more like it. If I'm not mistaken, the person in question may have persuaded you into silence. For argument's sake, Mr. Wright, whom may I ask is this person you're speaking of? The one I am supposedly so frightened of. What is this person's name? Well, Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, you are addressing the Chief Prosecutor. Do not forget your place. I take it she's still not ready to spill the beans. My apologies. Could you please tell me a bit more about what you think you know? We were partners until 2 years ago. I respected him as a detective. Assuming he is respectable, then tell me something. Why would he try to hide his crimes? His crimes? Both you and Edgeworth will be brought before a board of inquiry for what you did. Specifically hiding and forging evidence. Of course, these are serious offenses. Why is it, though, that Chief Gant's name was never mentioned? Chief Gant? Edgeworth didn't know the truth behind the forgery. The only party who could have possibly tampered with evidence was... me. I had access because I was second in command of that investigation. Yes, you, but also one other, Damon Gant. If you intend to accuse Chief Gant, you'll need more than just words. Show me proof that Chief Gant falsified evidence in that case. I just found this in a safe in the Chief's office. This jar piece and this piece of cloth. Do you know what these are? They're pieces of evidence from the SL9 incident. The person concealing evidence was none other than Chief Gant himself. Now tell me, why are you taking all the blame for him? Touché, Mr. Wright. As you surmised, I cannot disobey the Chief's orders, even if it means being found guilty for murder. Why not? Come now, Mr. Wright. You can't possibly expect me to be able to tell you that. 3 days ago, I had no choice but to cooperate in the murder of Detective Goodman. Or perhaps I should say follow orders. Yes, that's more accurate than cooperate. Although I can't tell you the details, I can say that I was given an order that day. I need you to dispose of Bruce Goodman's body. You'll find it inside the trunk of Miles Edgeworth's car. Just as I suspected. Despite what everyone believes, you are not the one who murdered Detective Goodman. Correct. I was trying to take the body out of Edgeworth's car. The trunk's lock was broken, and I discovered that murder weapon while inspecting the body. The murder weapon? You mean Edgeworth's knife? No. When I found the body, this was the knife stuck in it. The knife from the SL9 incident, serial killer Joe Dark's knife. I couldn't just leave that knife in him. So I took it out and stabbed him with another knife. That knife would be Edgeworth's knife? That's right. Even though he was already dead, my hands were shaking at the thought of stabbing him. That's why I ended up cutting my hand. And that's the reason for the bandage on your right hand? Yes, it seems that I got blood on the victim's shoe as well. And then... she saw me just as I plunged the knife in. Miss Starr, huh? Why do you need to hide Dark's knife so badly? It took a lot of work to finally close the Dark case 2 years ago. It was over with. I didn't ever want it to be opened again. My intent was to prevent that, by whatever means possible.
So, you hid Dark's knife.
The weapon used to stab the detective was evidence in the Joe Dark case. If word got out, which it would, the reporters would have a field day with that.
So you wrapped the knife in your scarf and hid it, in Edgeworth's exhaust pipe.
Right. Then I called my sister. To tell her what happened, and to ask her to hide the knife that was inside my muffler.
You asked Emma.
I didn't want anyone on the force to know about this.
That would explain why Emma is so confident about Lana's innocence.
Speaking of phone calls, I had a bad feeling about one of them that day.
A bad feeling?
The truth is, after I received those orders from Chief Gant, the first thing I did was make a phone call. Phone called the patrolman, Jake Marshall.
The Marshal? Why on earth would you call him?
The lead investigator for the SL9 incident had been murdered. I wanted that fact to be kept hidden, and I needed help. He was the only other person I could trust, or at least I thought I could trust him at the time. However, it seems that after I spoke to him, he went off on an escapade of his own.
Oh, you mean...
Not wanting the case to die, he decided to take things into his own hands.
He disguised himself as Detective Goodman and tried to steal the evidence.
He had already stolen the ID card, but it seems he still hadn't made up his mind to break into the evidence room. After my phone call, any remaining doubts he had must have disappeared.
So your phone call caused the incident in the evidence room.
I'm afraid that's all I can tell you.
But Lana...
You've earned my respect, Mr. Wright, both as a defense attorney and an investigator. Now please, don't pursue this further in court tomorrow.
Tomorrow's trial. There's only one way to drive off Lana's demons. I've got to get to the bottom of everything. Detective Goodman's real murder. And what went down in the chief's office 2 years ago? God, why? To be continued. I'm probably actually going to do the rest today, though. I'm going to try and blast through this as fast as I can. Before I do, though, I am going to go to the bathroom. So... BRB. Actually, I should probably leave you guys with some music to listen to. This is the defendant lobby, alright, but there's no defendant. I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma, for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. There, now you have music. So I will see you guys in a bit.
How dare you put snoring in chat? We weren't even waiting that long. I don't think you were waiting that long. While I was gone, I refilled my drink, so that's good. And my cat snuck into the room too. So, you know. He's gonna be hanging out with me. Honk, me. Edgeworth. Knowing you've already figured it out. Who the owner of the 7777777 ID number is, that is. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason this trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there was still room for doubt regarding this ID record. That number does belong to who you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been wrong voice. Yeah. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. True, not yet. In any event, once all doubt has been removed from that list, I can call for a ruling. 5 minutes, Wright and Chief Prosecutor Skye will be found guilty. But she didn't do it. I figured you'd say as much. That's why I came here. Hear what you have to say. This is the first time he's ever done something like this. Lana's hiding something, and the only way we'll ever know the truth is to draw it out of her. The truth? Everything goes back to the SL9 incident. Don't be stupid. Today's the last day of the trial. We don't have time to reminisce about the past. That depends on you. If she's found guilty, you'll lose your only chance to find out what really happened. I'll think about it. See you in court, right? This is it. If I'm ever gonna find out what Chief Gant has on her, it's now.
Court is now in session for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye.
I'm curious if you ever see the judge outside of the courtroom. Not in this game, clearly, but if there's any future games. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Normally this is when the prosecution puts forth its opening statement. But before that, the police chief has a proposal to make.
Chief Gant. He just phases into existence.
Morning, folks. How's everyone doing? Hey, Ajay, been back into the pool yet? No, I've been drowning enough as it is in my work. Oh, that's a good one. Don't think I can top that.
If you don't mind me asking, Chief, exactly what is this proposal of yours?
Lana, that is to say, the defendant, has asked me if she could speak directly to the court.
She wants to do what?
Having heard what she intends to say, I feel she should be granted a request. In the end, it should save everyone a lot of time and trouble.
What's this all about, defendant? I'd just like to make one simple request and I'll be finished.
Well then, what's your request?
Your Honor, I'd like you to put an immediate end to this trial. Huh? I confess to all charges against me. On February 21st of this year, I murdered Detective Bruce Goodman in the underground parking lot of the prosecutor's office. No, Lana. What's that behind her back? You can't. Your Honor, the defendant's claim does not change the defense's plea. In that case, Mr. Wright, her AirPods, I no longer require your services. But Lana, Your Honor, I hereby forfeit my right to an attorney. The prosecution may lack direct evidence against me, but it has sufficiently proven its case through testimony and circumstantial evidence. I would like you to render your verdict now, if you please.
Well, the defendant certainly has the right to self-representation. The request is legally valid, although this is an unprecedented situation. Indeed, it appears there's no further need to continue this trial, even if Mr. Wright may feel otherwise.
This can't be happening.
It appears the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant.
One moment, Your Honor.
Mr. Edgeworth?
The prosecution has not yet proven the defendant guilty beyond reasonable doubt. Any ruling at this stage would certainly be premature.
Come now, Worthy. I understand this is a difficult time for you, but why don't you just be a good little boy and keep your mouth shut,
I don't think I'd care for your tone, Chief Gant.
What?
Creating another fabrication to cover up your past mistakes. Sorry, but I'm no longer the naive little boy you would have me be. With a sudden confession from the defendant, it's obvious to me some kind of deal was struck behind the scenes.
Some kind of deal, huh? Not everyone operates as you do, Worthy.
I thought so. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to change its first witness.
Oh, to whom?
As its first witness, the prosecution would like to call Ms. Emma Skye. I request the court hears her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, I am exercising my right to self-representation. I don't think we need to continue. I don't care what you think, Ms. Skye. The exposure of truth sometimes results in tragedy. However, no matter how tragic the truth may be, it would be an even greater tragedy to avert one's eyes from it.
Very well, the court shall grant the prosecution's request. That's okay with you, right, Chief Gant? Worthy, you'll live to regret this, mark my words.
Ms. Emma Skye, please take the stand. Looks like Edgeworth has decided to take the horse by the reins. At this point, it's no longer prosecution and defense. It's both of us are just saying, fuck you, Gant, fuck you. Like, we're not against each other anymore. We're both just like, Gant is the one who did it, and we both want him dead. I love Edgeworth for this. Now then, witness, please state your name and occupation.
My name is Emma. Emma Skye. My occupation? I'm Lana's little sister, and I want to be a scientific investigator.
2 years ago, you encountered the serial killer Joe Dark of the Joe Dark killings. Is this correct?
Yes. I'm trying my hardest to forget about that, though.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to recall those events one more time.
Mr. Edgeworth, please remember this trial concerns the murder of Detective Goodman. Is an incident that was resolved 2 years ago really all that relevant?
Yes, it most certainly is.
Well, okay then.
He sure gave in fast. Now, please testify about what happened to you 2 years ago. The trip to yesteryear has finally begun. It's bound to lead to the truth behind this trial. Two years ago.
I was waiting in my sister's office that day. A man came running in and took me hostage. Neil Marshall rescued me, but I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. The man raised up his knife and stabbed Mr. Marshall in the chest.
It's a good thing you weren't harmed.
I passed out. I don't remember much.
That's understandable. However, please tell me, Mr. Edgeworth, what does this testimony have to do with Detective Goodman's murder?
That will soon become apparent, Your Honor. You've got to admire him for his courage, considering he has no evidence.
Very well, the defense may begin its cross-examination.
I guess that's still me, huh? Even though Lana said that she's self-representing, I guess I'm still the defense here, I guess? I was waiting in my sister's office that day. 2 years ago, the defendant was a detective at the police department, correct?
Yes, she was second in command under then Deputy Chief of Police Gant. My sister, she was the best detective ever.
Yes, I remember. Deputy Chief Gant and Ms. Skye used to be quite the pair.
I believe they shared the same office.
That's right. I'd always sit at my sister's desk and dream about playing that organ. I wanted to play it that day, too.
The police department and the prosecutor's office held a ceremony that day.
Lana promised to take me to dinner after she finished her work.
A man?
Yes, Joe Dark. He was
Hiccup. Soda. I was drinking soda, giving me hiccups.
he was a serial killer.
Joe Dark was brought in for questioning on the day of that ceremony. We were desperate to get anything on him that would lead to an arrest.
When he saw his chance, he fled the room, right?
Upon fleeing the room, Dark proceeded to take the elevator. He must have been in a panic because the elevator was going up. Then he ran into Sky and Gant's office.
There was a lot of noise coming from outside, so I opened up the door to have a look. That's when I saw him.
What was the prosecutor doing there?
That day, there were two people present during Dark's questioning. Deputy Chief Damon Gant and Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Almost forgot about Gant.
Neil Marshall had just received the King of Prosecutors Award. Young and dedicated, he went straight to the questioning room after the ceremony.
I assume that would also be why he was the first to run after Dark.
When Dark grabbed me, I thought I was as good as dead.
And that's when Prosecutor Marshall came running in?
I don't clearly remember what happened then, but
I'll never forget what I saw in that instant. Can you tell us about that?
Mr. Marshall jumped on Dark. Just then, the lights went out.
The lights?
It was just about this time of year. There was a terrible storm going on and lightning struck nearby.
So the electricity went out.
Wait a minute. If it was pitch dark in that room, you shouldn't have been able to see anything, right?
Right, but just then, lightning flashed again outside. That sudden flash left an unforgettable image of the scene in my mind.
I see.
I told the detective about what I saw then.
The detective?
Yes, Detective Goodman. He was in charge of the case.
Detective Bruce Goodman, the victim. Hear more. So you spoke with Detective Goodman about this 2 years ago.
Yes, that's what was so scary about the trial.
You told Detective Goodman about what you saw.
Yes, but at the time the words just wouldn't come out. That's why I drew a picture.
A picture? Yes, I think she mentioned that before.
Well, Mr. Wright, have you heard enough?
I'm gonna ask about the picture because I do believe I have it. This picture the witness drew. I believe it has a very important meaning.
But the list of evidence I was given 2 years ago didn't contain a picture.
Witness, would you mind if we added this statement to your testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
No, it is not lost. Because it's right here. Mr. Edgeworth. This little girl put all her heart into drawing that picture. And yet you would insist on denying its existence.
Huh? Hey, I'm not the bad guy. All I'm saying is that as the prosecutor for that case, I wasn't handed such a picture.
That may well be. But that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Behold.
This is the evidence list for the SL9 incident?
Please turn it over, Your Honor.
Turn it over? Turn it... what is this?
Why is it sideways?
Yes, what is that?
Hey, that's it. That's the picture I drew.
Indeed, two men appear to be wrestling here.
What's the meaning of this? What are you doing with that list?
Me?
Only the prosecutor in charge should have access to that list.
Oh? These lists. They're different from each other.
What?
It would appear, Mr. Edgeworth, that the evidence list you were handed 2 years ago was incomplete. These two lists fit together to form one. You can see the marks here where they were torn apart from each other.
So you see, Mr. Edgeworth, it's quite obvious what happened. 2 years ago, Only half of the evidence in that case ever reached you. We received an updated list. We gave him the updated list! Yes! Do you see how it feels, Edgeworth? Do you see how it feels? What? What?
Order, order. But Miss Sky, why do you draw your picture on the back of such an important list?
Because that's what Detective Goodman handed me in the questioning room, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. If this list was torn in half, then that means... Your Honor,
Are you alright, Mr. Wright? Your eyes are bulging from your head.
if the evidence list was torn in half, then there might be more of the drawing on the back of Mr. Edgeworth's list.
Yes, that's quite conceivable. Mr. Edgeworth?
It's possible. Let's see. Oh no, Edgeworth is turning into a race car. Do
Is something wrong?
you even have to ask? Sorry, Your Honor. There is indeed something drawn on the back of my list. Is that thing?
That's that thing. That thing that was dancing in the evidence room.
Clearly, this act of vandalism is the work of a certain chief of detectives. I guess he was out of scrap paper. Evidence list restored and updated in court record.
Very well, witness. Will you please testify about this picture you drew 2 years ago?
Well, first I'm gonna check the list. Oh, this is all I get. This is all I get to see. Huh. Interesting.
Huh? Oh, yes, sir, Your Honor.
What's wrong with Emma? She seemed to be thinking about something when she was looking at the picture. Oh no, Edgeworth is turning into a microwave.
This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. The flash of lightning was so bright, all I could see were shadows. After that, I must have fainted. This picture shows exactly what I saw in that instant.
To think a flash of lightning could burn such an image in your mind.
Thanks to that, though, she was able to show us exactly what she saw.
Well, I don't see any contradictions here. This clearly shows Joe Dark about to murder prosecutor Neil Marshall. The defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Emma's picture. This is the picture I drew 2 years ago. Did you draw this picture right after the incident?
I think I drew it 2 or 3 days later. At first, I was in such a state of shock that I couldn't do anything.
During that time, the investigation team was reorganized. Detective Goodman was placed in charge, under the direction of Damon Gant and Lana Skye. 2 or 3 days later, the memory should still have been fresh in her mind.
Excuse me, witness. But can you please tell us why this picture is painted all...
I think it was all black, as he said. A flash of lightning was so bright all I could see were shadows. So at the time, you didn't even know it was Mr. Marshall who had come to your rescue. I hate background noise. I'm very sorry.
No, I couldn't see him clearly. The lightning was so bright, and I was knocked to the floor.
You were knocked to the floor.
Dark had a tight grip on me, but when Mr. Marshall jumped on him, I was knocked away. I turned around, and that's when the lightning flashed.
Also, I would like to point out very quickly, is that Gant or no? Ooh, hang on. Yeah, Dark. That isn't Dark there, is it? Who's about to be stabbed? Cause technically we shouldn't know, but it looks... Hang on. Enhance, brighten the picture. Who the hell is that? I don't think it's... Now that I look... I don't think it's either Dark or Marshall. Who the hell is that? I can't tell. I can't recognize faces, apparently. Look at the vest.
What vest?
That's clearly Marshall by the way he dresses. Fair. Actually, I have a full picture of him right here to refer to with the vest. Yeah, hey, that's the vest. Poor Emma. I'm just glad she wasn't hurt.
What happened after the lightning flashed?
You fainted. You mean you didn't see the actual murder take place? No, I'm sorry.
The flash of lightning only drove off the darkness for a split second. Not only that, but the trauma of the situation understandably caused the witness to faint. Do you really need to torture this girl any further?
What? Hey, I'm not the bad guy here.
Anyway, this picture.
That's exactly what I saw in that instant. Sorry for asking so many times, but are you sure you drew exactly what you saw?
Of course, this is the exact scene.
It wasn't influenced in any way from your talks with the detectives.
Are you insinuating we somehow manipulated her memory, Mr. Wright?
No, of course not. I better watch out, or he might find some way to cut my salary.
I drew this picture before I heard anything from the detectives, so I don't think anyone's story would have influenced me.
Mr. Wright, is there something that's bothering you about this picture?
Huh? Oh, well... That's strange. She claims this is exactly what the scene, exactly the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. Shows exactly what I saw. I mean, it shows that she couldn't tell what the person was holding or who was who. Huh. I just realized, could this leather be part of it? Oh, that's not what I meant to do.
I meant to look at the picture.
What I was trying to do was this. The leather. I wanted to check, yeah, the leather jacket could be the same that that handprint's from. So I'm gonna save, just in case I misclick again. Apparently I can do that. I'm just that dumb. After all this time playing this game, I still manage it somehow. Huh. Clear handprint can be seen. The print belongs to Emma. I think I'll keep the information to myself. Actually, is there anything on the other side? No. I want to present the cloth just to see if she recognizes it as... Well, but it doesn't feel like the time to present it, but I still want to present it just in case. Yeah, nothing. That's about what I figured. What did you have to say about this? I drew this picture before I heard anything, so no one's story would have influenced me. Is there something that's bothering you? That's strange. She claims this is exactly what, the scene that was imprinted in her mind. And yet, there's clearly a contradiction here. I feel like I'm missing something. Is there anything if I continue to press? Doesn't seem like any new dialogue. see the murder. Let me see. Died from a punctured heart and lung. The knife tip was found in the wound. I'm trying to figure out if he was stabbed in the heart. How would he have reached his heart from here with him blocking his chest? I mean, it's possible, but I don't know. Oh. I guess that was the thing. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this picture the witness drew contains a blatant contradiction.
What? But I still remember it just like it was yesterday.
Mr. Wright, perhaps it would be faster if you simply pointed out this contradiction for us. What part of this picture contradicts the autopsy report?
The autopsy report... Well, is that a knife, I want to know? Take a look at the knife the man is holding. If you look closely, you can see its tip is broken. That's what that's supposed to be?
Even I don't have to look closely to see that, Mr. Wright.
It's a rectangle, what?
But Mr. Wright, look at the evidence. See the murder weapon? Its tip is broken too.
If I recall, the tip of the knife was found broken off in the victim's body.
It was the conclusive piece of evidence that proved Joe Dark was the murderer.
I'm afraid it's not so simple, Emma. And where, pray tell, could you possibly see a problem? It's obvious, really. The victim suffered a single stab wound to the back. If the victim was only stabbed once, then the murder weapon should not yet be broken.
What's the meaning of this?
Perhaps the knife was broken beforehand. Sorry, but I'm afraid that's not possible. The tip of the knife was found inside the victim's body. If it was broken beforehand, it couldn't possibly wind up there.
That's right, but what does this mean?
The tip of the knife was undeniably discovered within the victim's body. The only possible explanation is the witness's memory is mistaken. Right now, I'm still on the fact that that was supposed to be a drawing of the broken knife. I just didn't realize what it was at all, because it was a fucking rectangle. How are you supposed to figure that out? That was pure luck. I was just clicking and just ended up being right. That was complete bullshit that I pulled. That's why I asked her so many times if she was sure she remembered correctly. I believe you were annoyed at the one time, but she remembered it. She was sure she I can't talk. But she was sure she remembered correctly. But there's no other way to explain this inconsistency. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. There is another explanation. Have you forgotten already? About a little something called falsified evidence. You're treading on thin ice, right? All I'm saying is that this broken knife tip might be the piece of evidence that was forged. You can't deny the possibility. No. Ugh.
Order. Are you saying the investigation really was corrupted?
Your Honor, please allow me to once again go over the events that took place the day of the murder. The police department and the prosecutor's office were holding a ceremony that day. After receiving the King of Prosecutors Award at the ceremony, Neil Marshall questioned Joe Dark along with Damon Gant. During his questioning, Joe Dark fled the room. Prosecutor Marshall chased after him and was killed by Dark. It is my belief that somewhere in this story, there is a lie.
I'm not lying. The man really was holding up a broken knife.
If that's true, then there's no other way around it. This could not have been the actual murder weapon. There must have been another broken knife.
What are the chances of there being 2 broken knives?
Another broken knife besides Joe Dark's. Could there have been one? I mean, probably, but I don't know. If the witness is this adamant about the accuracy of what she saw, it can't just be explained away by a simple observational error. Mr. Wright! In that instant, Emma really did see a broken knife.
I assume, then, that you have some information about this other broken knife? If so, please feel free to enlighten us.
Murder weapon was already broken prior to the murder. There's only one way. Take a look at this. Here's the real murder weapon. Huh. Oh, wait a minute. If anything's broken here, it's you. Huh?
I'm sure this must be all very amusing to you, Mr. Wright. But may I remind you that the fate of Miss Lana Sky hangs in the balance.
Really? But a shard of pottery could easily stab someone. Eh. Bitch. Huh. Why would we still have the screwdriver? Ugh. But really, though, we can't say that a shard of the fucking jar was used. That, I don't know, but that feels right to me. What if I just present the switchblade knife again? Yeah, I kind of expected that. Hang on a minute. I think I actually did just make the connection. Really? You mean to tell me that that isn't it? The broken knife on the trophy isn't the broken knife that I'm looking for? The fuck do you want me to do? Do I have to present the picture then? Oh, okay. So don't present the thing, present the picture of the thing. Ah! The answer lies in the past, 2 years in the past. Right here inside this picture. This is the picture of the award ceremony.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth?
It's the broken murder weapon. Notice the award Prosecutor Marshall is holding.
What, you're quoting me?
I've heard that somewhere before. Yeah, it isn't the first time that's happened in this game, is it? I hate it. That's a broken knife. As we earlier concluded, the knife in the drawing was not Joe Dark's knife. That being the case, the knife the witness saw was in all likelihood from this award. Order, order. Neil Marshall was awarded King of Prosecutors that day. As an award, he was given this broken shield and knife. When he chased after Joe Dark, he pulled out this knife. Being a prosecutor, he did not carry a pistol. This broken knife was the only weapon he had in this dangerous situation. But that can't be. Oh, and why not, Mr. Edgeworth? Because if the King of Prosecutors' award knife was the murder weapon, then the murderer and the victim would be reversed. What do you mean? I mean, this man raising a knife would have to have been Prosecutor Neil Marshall. Oh. Oh.
But the prosecutor was the one who actually died.
That's true. What's going on here? It seems Mr. Wright has been a bit too eager to jump to conclusions.
Wait, I remember now. I remember everything.
Witness?
Mr. Edgeworth,
What is it?
could you show me your evidence list again, please?
His list? The one with that picture scribbled on the back.
I knew it. This picture. I'm the one who drew it.
What? You drew that?
That's right. The list wasn't torn in half at the time I drew this picture.
Why?
All this time I've been trying so hard to forget. I must have locked this part away deep inside me.
The music every time.
Perhaps it would be best if we added this to the witness's testimony. Would you please tell us what you've recalled, Ms. Sky?
Yes, Your Honor.
First the knife mix-up and now the blue badger? This should be interesting. Emma's recollection.
When I saw that man raise his knife, I panicked and rushed toward both of them. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. Just then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. He wasn't in the room, but I'm sure I saw his shadow.
This is certainly most unusual.
Try impossible. The chief of detectives hadn't even designed him until this year. That's typo. What would mean that he didn't even exist that would mean he didn't even exist 2 years ago.
Yes, well, the defense may now begin its cross-examination.
Stop, please. Don't pursue this any farther.
Lana,
What's the meaning of this? Please remain seated in the defendant's chair.
But you can't do this. I've already confessed to the crime. Why can't you just leave it at that?
Chief Prosecutor Sky. We've already come to this far. It's too late to turn back.
Silence. The defense will now begin its cross-examination. Bailiff, please detain the defendant.
Seems we're finally getting to the core of the matter. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark?
Yes, at least I think it was him.
You think. What are you trying to say here? What are you saying in chat? What is that?
All I could really see were shadows.
I love that video. Okay. Yeah, that was worth it. Power outage that immediately preceded the incident. You've never seen that video? Bailiff whack his pee-pee! You've never seen that video? It also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. Or is also documented. I can't read.
So then you...
I panicked and rushed toward both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous?
What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall.
He seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife.
Well, I didn't know that at the time. When that Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think was I've got to help that other person.
What did you mean you think?
It all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur.
Ms. Sky was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural.
I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife.
What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next?
Are you sure about this?
Of course, see? I even drew a picture of him here.
But it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable.
I know it sounds strange. I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department.
Court is just group storytelling with consequences.
I had this nagging feeling that I'd seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember.
Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion.
Unless we're in the room, did you see him dancing?
I'm sure I saw his shadow. His shadow? So you mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all?
That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns.
This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken.
That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did.
Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. If so, then by all means, please tell us what this shadow really was.
What was it Emma saw when that lightning flashed? Who is this blue badger, really? Huh. Let me check that picture real quick. There's nothing here that could cast a shadow like that. Not even a suit of armor. The hat, probably not. Profiles. Anything under profiles. I don't know anyone that would have that kind of shadow. You're wrong? What do you mean I'm wrong? The jar? Would the jar even be able to cast that kind of shadow? Because it's got these 2 dumb things on the sides. And 1 around back? What are you talking about? 1 what around back? Huh. Could this have casted that shadow? Huh. That's currently my only guess. I'm gonna save. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the defense's belief that on that fateful day 2 years ago, there indeed was something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room.
Mr. Wright!
In this room? Very well, Mr. Wright. What is it that the witness saw in that instant? Please show us this mysterious Blue Badger look-alike.
I mean, I might as well present the jar. The mysterious Blue Badger was, in fact, this. Hey, I was right!
But that's... Oh, what exactly is that?
I believe it's some sort of jar.
But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger.
Indeed it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint?
Our viewpoint?
I've got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. Hang on. That's not what I meant. I tried to press E to rotate it, and E is confirm. Because, of course it is. I can't save while doing this. Oh, great. Yeah. Rotate left. Q. Rotate right. Not E, it's R. Because of course it is. H, N, B, and... What the fuck? Wow. Does that look right? Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. I don't know how I'm supposed to figure this out. Also, why the music still? Ah! Huh. That looks right, I guess. Apparently not. I have to go through this and present the thing again. Is this really not it, though? It looks like it. Do I have to do it fully this, like fully upside down? Nope. This is finicky, I hate it. Like, it has to be upside down, because the bottom of the head is rounded, so it has to be rounded like the jar. Right? That's what makes sense to me. So... God. Spin. Like, looking at it directly on isn't gonna do anything. I can tell that much already. Because, I mean, there's a hole in the center. You would see a hole in the actual drawing. Maybe it's supposed to be like this? No, it isn't. All of the things I'm coming up with would work, but it's just not right. This is stupid. You know, it would be great if instead of just this, I could actually see the fucking shadow of it. That way I know what I'm looking for, or if I'm getting close. That would make things a lot easier. And I also hate the music. I really wish the music would stop. My line of thinking right now is that these two handle things have to be the ears. Then you have to have the rounded bit at the bottom for his head, and then this has to be the top bit. But what the fuck are they looking for then? Cause I swear I've done every arrangement I can think, but it's just not right. Like, I'm pretty sure I tried this already. Maybe a little more up, because no? What are they looking for? Just the right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a bit more, or horizontally. I'm trying. This is so finicky! Whose idea was this? Who the fuck put this in the game and thought this was okay? Do they want this? No. Also, you apparently don't take damage for this. That doesn't help it, though. It's still dumb. At this point, I just want to see a picture of what I'm supposed to do. Because there's no way you can describe what you're supposed to do. This is stupid. I know, Archbishop, you pulled up a walkthrough earlier, right? Is there a picture? I think you're on the wrong side. So I'm supposed to be looking at the side with the blood, but that's the same, though. They looks the same. It would have the same shadow either way. No, that's not right. So the nub doesn't show up? But you angle it that way, the nub won't show up anyway. I don't... Like, this feels right. This feels like exactly what I should be looking for. Finally! I did that like 3 times and it only now works? I hate this. That was torture. Well, is this a miracle or what? Yeah, it's a fucking miracle the game finally worked with me. No one can possibly deny the star's resemblance to the Blue Badger. No, it can't be.
Order, order. The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious Blue Badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this.
Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? Murder weapon? Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. At a very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well knowing this, where could she have seen this jar?
Where?
The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf in the office of Damon Gant. But the body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is these two facts that reveal what actually transpired. You see, the struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Chief Gant's office.
Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office?
Yes.
Why would he do that? There's no reason.
Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason.
Do you know what that reason was, Mr. Wright?
I finally figured it out. So this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. The next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying?
That would have to have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall?
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah!
The suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword.
Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy.
No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking.
Yes, there is another possibility of what actually transpired in that room.
Another possibility.
Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this.
Mr. Wright, what's the matter?
If events took place as the defense theorizes, the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Sky knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me?
To be continued. Never imagined your testimony would lead to this.
So it was the witness who took the victim's life, and then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented.
What are you saying?
I'm sorry, Ms. Sky, but given the circumstances...
Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her?
Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out about what Emma did, wasn't it?
I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Neil Marshall?
Evidence?
I'm willing to bet you don't.
Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence.
If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony.
I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead.
We certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning.
Touché, Ms. Sky. Of course. That only leaves us with one possibility.
You mean there's still another possibility?
What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth?
I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life, in one manner or another.
That's impossible.
Well, Mr. Wright, this is the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist?
Gotta think back to the court record. The real murderer's name that the victim may have left behind. Yeah, obviously. Can't get the dead to testify, just get Maya. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer?
Do not be mistaken, Ms. Skye. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek: the truth. No matter how painful it may be.
Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence.
Yeah. This is the message from the deceased.
Right. Now then, this is...
What? That doesn't... What? The handprint? You're kidding. That's bullshit. What do you mean that's not what... You mean when she pushed him, she didn't leave that handprint on a piece of leather from his fucking jacket? Fuck that. That's not his message, though. It's fucking dumb. Like, what would it even... Is this what it's supposed to be?
This is that blue badger from before, right?
Oh, was he going to just speak the killer's name?
That thing could, I'm sure it would.
Looks like everyone's forgotten this is just a jar. A message was left here on the surface of this jar.
What do you mean?
If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar.
It looks like someone wiped the blood away.
Yes, but notice. For some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away.
Yes, there is a line here drawn in blood.
So what you're saying is these dots were once lines.
Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used the few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message.
One that someone apparently wiped away. But blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines have changed directions.
Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No.
Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us?
Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains will reveal to us the answer. This is probably not going to be written in English. How the fuck are you supposed to do this? Did they translate it? So they did translate it. Okay. I guess that's good. It's a defense attorney's duty to prove their client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma.
So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind.
Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life
Was Emma Sky.
Seaworthy, can't say I didn't warn you.
Chief Gant.
Do you understand the implications of what you've done?
What? What are you talking about?
2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not?
Yeah.
Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction.
Yeah. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable.
I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know, we aren't defenders of justice.
What?
We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied.
What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death?
Yeah. Order, order, order!
The judge cannot get things under control again. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Last time I was told that that we had like a couple hours left to go, that was clearly not true. That was definitely not true. What, or do I have like false memories of that? I could have swore last time I was told we only had a couple hours. Really, how much longer do we have at this point? Yeah, false-ish. How much longer do we have at this point? It's been 3 hours and uh, two more sections. 2 more sections, meaning like like the to be continued thing. As in cross examinations. Well, I think sections means when to be continued pops up. In which case, that would probably mean next time we still have enough time. Yeah, we've got the trial ladder and trial ladder 2. So we've got 2 more trial bits to go. I thought today was going to be the end of the game. I thought we were going to finish it today. But it feels like we still have another stream worth. God damn it. Yes, ugh. This game will never end. They'll just keep updating it. They'll keep adding content. Which is fine with most games, but not visual novels. God damn it. I was playing Cornered at the start of this stream thinking, oh, this is the end. We're gonna finish this game. God damn it. I made such a big deal out of nothingness. Wait, why wouldn't it be fine here? What do you mean? Like why wouldn't it be okay to add more content later to a visual novel? Because visual novels are supposed to, like, usually they're just a story beginning to end. We'll cut it out in post. You say as if I ever edit my videos. I don't know how to do that. Okay, but why not add more stories? I mean, technically, you could do that, but eventually it would just get to a point where it's like, all right, just make another game, Jesus. Like the game would get too long at a certain point. And this game so far is getting real long. Yeah. Like the chapters just keep getting longer with each one. Ugh. But really though, if we do have one more stream, like if we still have a couple hours left, enough for another stream, then I'm gonna have to end it because it's been 3 hours, and I am getting real tired at this point. 3 hours is like the end of what I can do. Damn it. Okay. Save that. Well, anyway. I guess we still have another stream then. So, I'll see y'all next time. I just want Sonic Frontiers at this point. I just want to play that game. I'm just, personally, I'm really excited for that. Because I want to play something that isn't a visual novel. I like it, but it's too long. This game has been so long, help! But yeah, I'll see y'all later. Good night.